Hi, my name is Briggs, and I'm a public ally. Public Allies is an AmeriCorps program dedicated to creating leadership and positive, lasting change in local communities. This video is a part of our Team Service Project, or TSP. Part of our time with Public Allies is dedicated to creating a Team Service Project, or TSP, where we focus on problems facing local communities and partner with local organizations to help provide solutions to those problems. Our TSP for this year is a web series titled Healthy Futures, where we discuss nutritional health, mental health, vocational training, and employment options. In this video, we are going to discuss ADHD, a mental health disorder that affects an estimated 8.4% of children and 2.5% of adults, according to the American Psychological Association. To learn about how ADHD and other special needs affect children in school, we'll be speaking today with Taiba Hassan, the bilingual school psychologist at several Brooklyn schools.
So my name is Taiba Hassan. I'm the bilingual school psychologist in a few of the New York City schools that we're in.
Very cool. So my first question is, what are some common attention issues that children face in the school environment? What issues are these children facing in the school and in the remote environments?
Well, in the remote environment, it's a bit difficult, right? Because now you're in your comfort zone, you're at home. There's a difference between home and school or home and work in general if people are working from home. So like the attention span, there's other distractions. And again, it's not only for kids with any type of disability, but it's also for us adults as well, right? If you're working from home, it's the same. It's almost, it's almost the same environment that we all have to face. So a lot more prompting is needed, a lot more redirection is needed, a lot more scaffolding or supports are needed, not only from teachers in a remote setting, but also from parents as well. Because if a student does have a disability, it's more of that, you need that extra assistance from the adult, whoever is in the home, to guide them in their whatever assignment that they have for that day, right? So that also plays a factor. Now in the school system, typically how some behavioral, I guess it depends on how you define behavior, right? So is it behavior in terms of social emotional, or is it behavior in terms of academic? So talking about social emotionally, there are different tiers of supports that that the school may be able to provide. And in terms of academic, that's also another type of sets of tiers, right? There's group assistance, and then it gets smaller and smaller in terms of the intensity of services or the intensity of supports that the child may need.
Interesting. You used a couple of words that I'd like you to define, if possible.
Sure.
You used the word prompting in the context of parents helping their children in remote environments. What would that look like?
So for example, all right, to operationalize this. So when a child, let's say, is doing a math assignment and is perhaps looking at the window or is looking at the TV, prompts may a redirection prompt may be, telling the child to return to task, or, hey, you have some work to do, or perhaps, letting them know, okay, maybe you can do 2 and then you can get a break. So these are different types of prompts. It just means that you're interacting with a child to help them finish or focus on the task that they're in.
And then another term that you used that I was interested in was scaffolding.
Okay. So the word scaffolding is it's a very teacher term. We use that a lot. It just means we're using various types of supports within in assisting the child. So in terms of so one type of scaffold may be like using visuals or using manipulatives or using prompts. So it's types of supports that the teachers or a parent can use at home to help their child.
Awesome. I would like to know a little bit more about for families and students, what the process is when a parent thinks that a student might have a disability or a learning need, and how they enter the IEP system, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah. So if a parent has a concern with their child in terms of their academics, or any type of functioning within the school system, right? It's affecting their performance in school. A parent can write a letter to the school-based support team or to their school saying that they would like their child evaluated. At times, it's best to speak with a teacher prior to writing the letter, just so you can get the idea if it's really impacting the child. You know, a teacher can say a lot about how the child is doing on their end. Sometimes it could also be a home issue, so it's best to have like a little pre-conference with the teacher or even the school psychologist too before
Mhm.
beginning the process. But yes, anytime a parent can write a letter stating their concern, and the process begins from there.
And what is the evaluation like? You mentioned the child could be evaluated. That would be the first step.
Well, that wouldn't, well, I'll take a few steps back. It wouldn't be the
Mhm.
first step,
Mhm.
but so once you write a letter, and I guess it depends on the system that we're in, right? New York City has different systems as well, but typically, once a parent writes a letter, you have like a little conference with a member of the school-based support team, kind of just like to feel out what concerns they have, kind of hear about their social history. And then from there, if parent is still willing and interested, we go into the next phase of getting consent for testing. And then we begin testing, which for me on my end would be doing a cognitive, doing academics, teacher reports, anything and everything that can help us paint a picture of the student's strengths and weaknesses.
See, yeah. Um, and a kind of a logistical question, I guess, is what age do you work with? What ages do you work with, and what age do students usually enter the IEP system?
So
Or does
right
it
now,
vary?
um, sure. So right now I work, I think, well, I want to say, I would like to say from pre-K to 8.
Mhm.
I only say that because we have a specific time within the school year that we work with pre-K students who are transitioning into kindergarten. So yeah, from pre-K to 8, and it definitely varies. It varies completely. A disability can happen or it can be identified at any stage. It doesn't necessarily say you'll be able to see a disability around age 11 or 12. It just honestly, it just depends and it varies.
That's interesting. Yeah. I would like to know a little bit more, probably wrapping up because we're keeping these videos pretty short.
Okay.
I would like to know a little bit more about what activities you do with the students, what your work looks like on a daily basis.
Okay, so my workload is a little bit different from, I guess, other types of school psychologists because mine is very IEP driven. So we do have a lot of kids who are entering the system, or they want parents would like a reevaluation of how their child is doing at this point in their school life. So my job really focuses on having the IEP meetings, making sure that the goals are set, making sure that we're all in agreement in what's going on into this new plan, and then making sure that we have a set date and it to get started.
Nice. AIP. I'm writing down some
That's okay.
notes. Um, Great. My last question is if you have any recommendations for parents who might want to enter this process or who are in this process right now with IEPs.
My, I guess one recommendation is as a parent, you know your child best.
Mhm.
So if you do feel like there's something wrong and you sense it, by all means, like call up the school and have a discussion with someone. So I think that's the best. That's the first, and I think that's the best step that we can do for the child. The earlier that conversation is held, the better. So
Great. I think those are all my questions. Thank you so much for speaking with me.
sure, no problem.
The Child Mind Institute is a non-profit organization that aids in helping/assisting families with children who struggle with mental or learning disorders. The Well Life Network is a non-profit organization that offers mental health services to all 5 boroughs and throughout Long Island. They have a wide variety of services available to individuals who struggle with mental illness and emotional problems. Finally, Community Healthcare Network is a non-for-profit organization that serves the communities of Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, and Manhattan. In addition to mental health treatment, CHN also provides physical health and social services.